Alright folks, get those dislikes ready because it's time once again for another Futureshock review. So, Futureshock Slam number 5 from the Ryland Centre in lovely, delicious Warrington. Lovely and delicious. So, yeah, Warrington Slam, Futureshock Slam, sorry, is the other Futureshock shows. They have the Guildhall shows, which are now called Uproars, and there's the underground shows up in Prestwich, which are normally the big shows. So if you want to put into WWE terms, the underground shows are the pay-per-views, and the Guildhall shows are Raws, and then you have the SmackDown shows that are the Slam ones. And to use a WWE to continue the WWE comparison, sorry, shall we say, it sometimes feels like SmackDown is like the forgotten show. Of the 3 shows that they do, the Slam ones are the least good, if that makes sense. Or, I don't want to use the word worst, because that's sounds a bit nasty, but least attended. Seems like they save the bigger matches for the other 2 ones. So it's one of those. It's like the best way I can think about it is that, when there's a pay-per-view on, say for example with SummerSlam coming up, you don't need to watch the SmackDown before SummerSlam because all the cards are in place and all the pieces are in place, aren't they? So you don't need to see it. So with the 11th anniversary show being just 2 weeks away, there's nothing going to be sort of amazing. All the pieces are, like I say, are in place for the 11th anniversary show. So there's nothing really must see on this one, but out of pure loyalty, if nothing else, along I went. 120 people by my count inside, so a decent turnout. What do we have? Our opening contest was Ashton Smith defeating Ryan Hendrick and Mark Massa. Now I've got written on my notes here, in your generic two heels, 1 face match. Now what I mean by that is that the generic triple threat match formula when you've got 2 heels is, imagine the match is 10 minutes long, so the first say 6 minutes are the 2 heels beating up the babyface, and then the following 2 minutes are the 2 heels arguing when one of them's gone to cover, and that's lovely, and then the final 2 minutes are the babyface getting the big heroic comeback and beating both the heels to get the win. And that is to the letter how this one went down. I don't know if it was 10 minutes exactly, but yeah, that is exactly how this one went down. Ashton Smith getting the win with a GTS. Now this was an interesting one for me because it's been announced that at the Underground show, the 11th anniversary show, which incidentally is Futureshock's 100th show as well, I should probably just point out, it was announced that Sona Durson will defend the Adrenaline Championship against 3 contenders. It'll be a 4-way match. So I went into this match with look, this one's going to be shenanigans, isn't it? And it's going to be ruled in a no contest of some sort. Then look, you've got all 3 men here, 3 contenders, happy days. And that isn't what happened. I was very, very surprised with Ashton Smith just getting a generic clean win, which is exactly what he got. And then it was announced today, because I'm recording this on Monday, that the 4 men that are going to be in the match, it's going to be Sona Durson defending, I was going to say retaining there, defending against Ashton Smith, so that makes sense. But then Mark Massa's in the match, you're like, right. And then they've announced James Drake as well, and you sat there going, that doesn't make any sense. I have got a habit of overthinking wrestling, all right? I've got no problem admitting this one, but I really like my title matches to have a reason for them. So if you've got to earn your title shot, is my belief, genuine my belief. It's one of those, if someone's having a title shot for no reason at all, then I've got no reason to get behind that person's attempt to, win the championship. So Mark Massa lost this match and has lost every match he's been in this year, but is put into that 4-way match. And that is one of those things that just bothers me so much. It's one of those, that really bothers me. And then you've got James Drake, who hasn't been seen in Futureshock for at least 3 months, gets a title shot. And you just go, right. But it's one of those things that I've been accused of overthinking wrestling at times, and that leads into the next match, which is Danny Hunter challenging Lana Austin for the Women's Championship, despite the fact that at the last Underground show there was a tag match, women's tag match, and it was Danielle Hunter who was pinned in that match. This is where that overthinking comes from. If Chardonnay, who was Danny's partner at the time, had been pinned, Danny could cut a promo and say, yeah, we lost the match, but you didn't pin me, and because of that, at the next Slam show, I want a title shot, and that could kind of work. But because Danny got pinned, Lana's quite alright to just go, well, you lost, and you didn't deserve, and you're the one who got pinned, so you don't deserve a title shot. So no. But of course, Lana Austin is a fighting champion, so I suppose that kind of makes sense. One of my big criticisms of Danny Hunter is that she doesn't do enough to interact with the crowd. Because she's part of the Uprising, she gets the initial boos when she comes out because the Uprising's music played, but that's pretty much it. But in this match, she did a lot more character work, which I was really, really pleased about. She did this thing on the apron where she was she's pretending to sulk sort of thing. Lana comes out and chases her, they chase around the ring. Danny gets in and whacks her down, and then goes and starts sulking on the outside again. Absolutely brilliant little spot. Really like that one. There was a really nice Northern Light suplex in this one by Lana. Lana ducks the big spinning kick that Danny does as a finishing move, hits a DDT right on top of Danny's head for the win. Nothing wrong with the actual match whatsoever. Next up, Island Brother Rio defeating model Danny Hope in an okay match. You know how this one goes. Heel controls, face makes a big comeback, and then Taboo, who is Rio's partner in the Island Brothers, comes out and takes out Melanie Price on the outside, injuring her knee, so that means that Danny Hope's distracted and can fall. The two heels, the Island Brothers, hit a modified version of the total elimination that the Eliminators used to do, and that got the win. Only complaint this was an weird one because the crowd were very, very quiet for this match. Very, very interesting dynamic. And of course, anyone who knows me will know that I desperately want Melanie Price to get away from the models. I think Melanie Price is one of the best managers in the country. She's so fucking good at what she does. But as a babyface, I think she's wasted because she doesn't do anything of note when she's with the models. Whereas, you know, a heel manager, you know, babyface manager can't trip someone up, for example. It just looks ridiculous. Whereas a heel manager, that's what they can do all day. That's what they're there for, aren't they? So I'd love it if Mel was a heel again. Really, that's something I would really, really like to see. Next up was my favourite match of the night after the intermission, which was Sexy Kev and Gentleman John McGregor fighting to a draw. I'll tell you why this was my favourite match. You've got two baby faces, so you've got an interesting dynamic, of course. But Sexy Kev is Warrington's hometown boy, so of course he was over as anything. But yeah, this match was very, very technical. Very, 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 very technical match. And there was little touches in it that I really buzzed off. So, for example, at one point, let's say, I can't exactly remember the move, but let's say it was a headlock takedown. Let's just take that as an example. So Sexy Kev does the headlock takedown on Gentleman John. And Gentleman John complains about it. It's like, oh, come on, that was a bit much. And Kev's kind of like, look, it's wrestling, it's competition, and sort of like, yeah, that's fair enough. So then Gentleman John does the exact same move when, you know, and like gets up and he's got a bit of a cockiness in the way he says, look, just competition, isn't it? It's just wrestling. It's like, oh, that created a really, really nice dynamic for these two. So it was just starting to get going when Wonderland came out, which of course is, for those who don't know, is Noah and Henry Tegrod and an as yet unnamed female. We haven't got a name for the girl yet. And the girl blasted the red mist into Gentleman John's face. Actually, I think it was Kev that did it on, now I think about it, and then hit a double team DDT, which I know is the FUBAR, I think it is, a draped up double DDT. Yeah, but this is my favourite match of the night because of the character work and because of it was really, really technical. Our other match from the Models Island Brothers one was Joey Hayes defeating Taboo, and I've got written on my notes here, very similar match to the earlier, very similar match to the earlier one with the other Island Brothers. This time, heel miscommunication after referee Pete got bumped meant that Danny Hope was able to come out and hit Taboo with the catwalk kick, meaning that Joey could get the win. All good, no complaints, none whatsoever. And then, in our main event, Xander Cooper and Deadly Damon Lee defeating Dave Rayne and Jack Gallagher in a good match. Generic tag team formula I've got written on my notes here, which you know what that means in a match like this. It means that either Dave or Joey is your... Dave or Jack, sorry, is your face in peril. You know, yada yada yada, gets the hot tag, yada yada yada. DDL sprays the eyes of Dave Rayne with some of his beautiful smelling Old Spice so that Cooper can roll him up and get the win. These two face off in 2 weeks, probably the most anticipated match on the card, which is Career versus Championship, in a match that I still can't quite figure out what's going to happen, although I said on my review a couple of weeks ago, I can't help thinking that Dave's going to lose this one, unfortunately. Something I don't want to see. Yeah, so this was an alright show. I think one of the problems with this one for me was that going into this one, I'd been to PCW on the Friday night, which had been a very, very strong show, so it was one of those. The next show is the big one, as it were, at Prestwich, at the Longfield Suite. It's Futureshock Underground. I don't know what number it is the truth, I'm afraid, but it's their 100th show and it's their 11th anniversary show, and it's got an absolutely monstrous card. It's very, very, very strong. It's Dave Rayne versus Xander Cooper. Like I say, Championship versus Career. You've got a TLC match, the American Wolves, Dave Richards and Eddie Edwards versus the Models for the Tag Team Championships. You've got Jack Gallagher versus Xander Cooper. Jack Gallagher versus Zach Gibson. I'm such a mong, aren't I? I just talk and... there's no filter in there at all. Yeah, that's a submission match. That's one particular form. So Bubblegum versus DDL, it wasn't as been announced recently. I'm expecting some sort of women's match to be added to the card, and of course this four-way, which although I don't like the reasoning behind it, the people that are in the match mean it should be entertaining if nothing else. And I expect this one to be sold out, and of course I'll be sat there on the front row having a great time. It's also my birthday that weekend, so come along and say hello to me. Very much looking forward to that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure at least 30 of you have disliked this video already, so keep those dislikes coming in, because the more dislikes it gets, the more of these I'm going to do. Hey, how does that sound? I've been Mark P. Thank you so much to all of you for watching, and take it easy and goodbye.